In this video, we're going to look at some important historical developments that led to the operations management that we know of today. In the early years, so in the 18th century, that was the beginning of mass production and industrialized production. So the main focus was cost. Cost reduction was the focus. And in this epoch, we had the early concepts of labor, division of labor, and scientific methods, and so on. Then, in the 1980s to 1990s, the focus shifted from simply cost reduction to quality focus. And there was a recognition that focusing simply on cost alone is not going to be competitive. And as a matter of fact, it turns out that the quality focus will have an impact on reducing cost as well, as we will look at in chapter 6. Then during the same time period, there was a recognition that standardized mass-produced products are not meeting individualized customer needs. So there was a push for mass production at the same time incorporating individualized customer needs. So customization focus. Then right now there is more of a globalization focus. So let's look at some important individuals who made major contributions to operations management. So we have, when we go back to the 18th to 19th century, so we have the division of labor, which was discovered or identified as a means of efficiency. And Eli Whitney was the first one to develop standardized parts so that parts can be separately made and then put together, assembled into a final product. And that laid the foundation for Ford Motor Company to later start mass production assembly lines. And also Frederick Taylor, he developed scientific management concepts. And both the standardized parts and scientific management led to mass production in terms of assembly line. And then there were also some tools that were developed for scheduling purposes called Gantt chart. And then there is Frank and Lillian Gilbert. They developed motion study to study how people move their hands and make things, and so we can study that and try to optimize those movements to maximize production. Then there is quality control, statistical quality control, which is a major improvement in terms of how to incorporate quality. And then with the introduction of computers, then the project management techniques, they led to material requirements planning, which is more precisely identifying the demand and producing at the right quantity and the right time to meet those demands. And then there were some specific improvements like computer-aided design and flexible manufacturing and so on. Let's look at some of these individuals in a little more detail. Eli Whitney was the first one who received a government contract for making muskets. And he made separate standardized parts that can be put together, which was the foundation for assembly lines later on. And Frederick Taylor is known as the father of scientific management. He studied the motions and time study to create efficiencies in production. And he was the first one to focus on the management function to take responsibility for how well the parts are produced. It's not the employees, the workers' sole responsibility, but it is the management responsibility as well to incorporate efficiencies in production. Frank and Lillian Gilbert, they studied scheduling techniques and work measurement, and again, they took Taylor's work further. Henry Ford, of course, everybody knows Henry Ford, Model T, and he took all those principles developed by Eli Whitney, Frederick Taylor, and Gilbert and put them together into a mass production facility um, assembly line. Edwards Deming, he is considered father of quality control in Japan, and at that time Japanese products were considered to be particularly poor quality, and they were known for shoddy work. Hard to believe these days. And Deming was the one who showed them how to incorporate, how to design production process into such a way that quality is the focus. The Japanese were so grateful to Deming that they named their National Quality Award after Deming. And there are contributions from other areas also. It's not only the production people. So there were inputs from human factors and industrial engineering, management science, which is linear programming and that kind of stuff, biological sciences and information, physical sciences and information technology. All of these different areas were involved. Their contributions were significant in improving production efficiency.